Logarithmic equations, extraneous roots. Question 5. Solve, identify and reject extraneous roots. Log to the base 9 of square root x square minus 6x equals to half. Well, you should remember that in logarithmic functions, they have restricted domain, and therefore there is a likelihood of getting a solution which is not within the domain, right? So therefore it is very important to check your solution. It should be in the domain. Otherwise it is rejected since it is an extraneous root. So extraneous roots are the solutions which do not fall in the domain of the function, and therefore they are not the real solution, right? So let's figure out what is the domain of this function to start with. So I'm doing this so that I give you an idea of how to look for extraneous roots. So one way is to find the domain of the function. So domain of this function should be that within the square root we should get this function as positive, right? So we should have x squared minus 6x should be greater than 0, right? So we can factor this out. So we get x times x minus 6 should be greater than 0. So we can do it graphically also. So x times x minus 6 could be a graph like this. It is a parabola whose x-intercepts are at 0 and at 6, correct? Which will open upwards, right? And therefore from here we see that the domain of our function is on the right of 6 or on the left of 0, correct? Because this is the region where our function is positive. Between 0 and 6 it is negative, and therefore that is not the part of domain, correct? So the domain of our function is equal to, I should say, that x belongs to real numbers where x is, we can say x is less than 0 or x is greater than 6, correct? So that is our domain. So when we get answer for this, we should check whether it is in our domain or not, correct? So that's the background for all this. Now let's try to solve this. Log to the base 9 of square root of x squared minus 6x equals to 12. So let's write down this statement or equation in the form of exponential function, right? So it will be 9 to the power of half equals to this thing, which is within the square root. So we get x squared minus 6x is equals to 9 to the power of half, which is square root of 9, correct? 9 to the power of half. Now we can square both sides. So when we square both sides, we get x squared minus 6x equals to 9. Now this is a quadratic equation. We can bring 9 and then find the answer. We get x squared minus 6x minus 9 equals to 0. Now let's use the quadratic formula to get the answer. So we have x equals to minus of b, which is 6, plus and minus square root of b squared, which is 6 squared, which is 36, minus 4 times ac. So 4 times a is 1 and c is minus 9. So minus and minus becomes plus, and we get 4 times 9 as 36, correct? Divided by 2 times a, which is 2 times 1. So we have 2. So that is the quadratic formula, and that is the kind of solution which we can get. Now if we solve this, what do we get? So let me do it on the right side, correct? So we get x is equals to 6 plus minus, and this is 72, or 2 times 36 we can write, right? 72 or 2 times 36. I'm purposely writing 2 times 36 because 36 is a perfect square, right? So, and divided by 2. This could be written as 6 plus minus, this is a perfect square. I can write 6 square root of 2 divided by 2, right? And that is, let's divide them by 2. So I get 3 plus minus 3 square root 2, correct? Now let us see where these answers lie. Are they within our domain or not, correct? Now 3 square root 2 is more than 3, correct? Let's not worry about the exact value, but we know it's more than 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6, and 3 plus 3 square root 2 will be more than 6. So this point is definitely somewhere in this portion, correct? So it is within our domain, right? How about 3 minus 3 square root 2? So 3 minus, this is bigger, right? So it will be a negative quantity, and it will also lie in this portion, correct? So both for us are relevant answers. So we really don't have any extraneous root in this case, right? And therefore we'll write down our answer. And our answer is that the roots are 3 plus minus 3 square root 2, correct? So that is the answer for the given equation. So that's how we are going to do it. Thank you.